Okay, here are some book recommendations. Oh, I closed it. Here are some book recommendations. One is The Element by Ken Robinson that talks about skills mixed with your passions and other things. I haven't actually finished it, finished about half of it, more than half of it, but I get the point, but I should probably finish it. 50 Successful Ivy League Application Essays. You don't have to read the whole thing, but it's how do you say what's good about it, what's bad about it. Um, in the program that I work for, we advise students not to read essays because it's too easy to try to mimic that style of essay. For example, I had a student who wanted to mimic a montage style essay. A montage style essay, just imagine like a Rocky training montage or like a fighting montage. It's just like a mix of stuff. And if you're good at video editing, then you have the mind for that type of stuff. Transition is key. Imagery is important. So, is that your style? Do you like to describe things in great detail and to transition smoothly from one thing to another, whether linearly by year or by topic or by what? You know, there's so many styles, and you don't want to be reading it. Oh, that's really good. I'm gonna try and do that. It's start with your style first. A blank piece of paper the most is a thing with the most creative potential. Um, that could also mean you're gonna write a dud, but you gotta see yourself first before you start looking at other people. So there's some great essays in there, and they can be used as examples sometimes, but if they're finished products. So I don't think you learn as much unless you see the process, how it goes from beginning to end, which we're gonna do in the video. How to win friends and influence people. I think, why read this? This is a classic, sort of, not like Roman classic or Greek classic, or even Shakespeare classic. It's like early 1900s, early 1900s. And one is that the principles have held true. And if I was to summarize, I mean, so much time has passed. Businesses are the type of business he talks about, the society that he talks about, it doesn't exist anymore. Um, there's examples like Henry Ford and like um, I don't know, Oppenheimer. I don't think he's talking about the guys that are in that era or way before actually. So Alexander Graham Bell, I don't know. So that changed a lot, but his messages, his principles are so relevant even today. And Warren Buffett said Dale Carnegie was his biggest influence, and I'm not even sure they even met. But Dale Carnegie, um, this book, if I was to summarize it in one word, it's listen. If I had to summarize it in a few words, it's all about the other person usually, but the key is to not make it like that's your goal. Like, okay, I want to win friends and influence people, so I'm going to use these tactics. That's very manipulative, and and in the long run, it's more complicated. I think that title is used to attract you, but the principle is kind of like underlying all of it. He's trying to teach you how to basically be a good person, I think. Um, and if you do these things, you will become a better person if you can consistently do it. So one is remembering someone's name. Does that make you a good person? Not really, but that's something. And it's not about you as much. That's a little bit of time, a little less time focused on you, and never like try to argue or like prove your point. That doesn't get you anywhere. And just like a lot of other things. Anyways, The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I noticed that I have a lot of trouble finishing works of fiction. Even though I try to write fiction, it's just a different kind of animal. And Great Gatsby I actually finished several times, and I read it. And also Haruki Murakami read some amazing fiction, but it was his memoir that was the best in my mind. So Great Gatsby, what you can extract from that is probably style, literature, feeling, tone. You get a sense of what amazing writing is, or debatably, some people really love it. Some people, it's pretty controversial. Not controversial, but it's everybody says, not a lot of people say it's a great book. It's universally regarded as a great book, but some people think it's overrated. I think it's great. I think it's great, and if you just read it for the things that you can learn about writing in it, then that's also great too. The story is also very good. It still stands today. You know, the idea of the American dream, going back to get your love. Social inequality was a little bit of a thing, but they don't stress it. And I think those are more superficial points. I need to read it again to really know what it's getting at. And that's the cool thing too. I read it first when I was about 16, and the age at which you read it changes your perception of it because you're never the same person. So these books can help you see a whole new world through your element. And hopefully you can win friends and influence people, become the great whoever you are, and write 50 successful Ivy League applications if that's what you want to do. Okay, it could be UC, it could be anything. Anyways, that's it for this video. That's that.